Now, the crazy thing is, I haven't even taken this thing out of the box yet. I've had it sitting here for about a month, but I know this guitar is going to be better than a GIBSON Les Paul. Why? 5 very simple and fundamental reasons. Let's pull this thing out and take a look, shall we? Now, the one place this is definitely not superior is in the packaging. This is from China, so they're still using styrofoam packaging, which is horrible for the environment. Guys, cardboard boxes, please. You can recycle the material. This shit just goes into a fucking landfill and then you can't do anything with it. Look, I understand you're saving a few bucks, but seriously, please think just a little bit more beyond the immediate bottom line economics and think long term. Growing your company and doing something where you're using a sustainable resource instead of this shit. This stuff is just basically the devil's brew. Get rid of it. It's not doing anybody any fucking good. Look at that. Definitely not quite in tune. I wouldn't expect as much as it just made a trip halfway across the world. But yeah, that's something. All right, so this camouflage masterpiece is from China, from the brand 10S. Let me break it down for you why this is a better guitar for you than a GIBSON Les Paul. Number 1, the price. This guitar here is only $550. Seriously, you can buy enough of these for Snow White and her 7 Dwarves for the price of a single high-end GIBSON. And if you live in a state where the government thinks that a $7.50 minimum wage is fair, chances are you're never going to be able to afford one anyway, or rent for that matter. I guess if you really need a GIBSON, you could always become an indentured servant to the credit card companies, but this is probably going to be a much smarter alternative. Like Crom's unholy balls, let's look at these specs. There's a one-piece mahogany body, ebony fretboard, Tesla pickups, and Grover tuners. I don't have a clue how they managed to pack so many features into something so damn affordable and yet keep the build quality top-notch. Oh, but Glenn, they probably pay their workers terrible wages. Yeah. In what way is $17 an hour to mass-produce $3,000 guitars somehow a reasonable wage? Hey, at least GIBSON is generating massive value for their shareholders, though. Number 2, it actually stays in tune. Now, I have had some truly beautiful Les Pauls come into the studio over the years, and they all have one thing in common. They're a nightmare to keep in tune! I'm not making this up. $3,000 Les Pauls that sound great, but you spend more time tuning them than actually recording them. I mean, like, what the actual fuck are you guys thinking? Fortunately, GIBSON do seem to have smartened up recently and started putting Grover tuners on their guitars. Wow, that only took like, what, 50 fucking years? However, good brand name hardware means an even bigger price tag, and even GIBSON's lower end models like the Les Paul Studios are going to run you a whopping $1,700. So for just under a third of that, you can get the 10S, which comes with Grovers as a standard feature. And this guitar actually stays in tune. Maybe it's the fact that the strings don't bind up in the nut like they love to do on a GIBSON. Maybe it's the angle of the headstock. I don't know. All I know is that I've had a much better time with this guitar than any GIBSONs that's blessed my studio with coursing rhythm guitars. Yay. You want to play a single cut in the studio and not worry about tuning stability? Get this thing instead. Number 3, it's not nearly as heavy. Another great thing about this 10S is that it's much lighter than a GIBSON. And when you're playing live or even playing standing up in the studio, you don't need a boat anchor constantly pulling you down. And that's not to say the 10S doesn't have a bit of heft, far from it. But hey, take it from a guy who used to be really overweight. Those extra pounds are going to do a number on you. I went through it every single day, especially after an hour or two of moving around on stage with it. Number 4, it's got got better construction, and the headstock won't break off. Now, you guys have probably heard horror stories about Gibson's infamous headstocks. Namely, how often they wind up breaking. And looking at the headstocks, it's not much of a surprise. They're angled like they're trying to do gymnastics and not hold strings in place. Seriously, if I'm gonna drop several thousands of dollars on a guitar, I kinda want the thing to stay in one fucking piece! Not asking for much! Now, thankfully, somebody at 10S was thinking and decided, hey, let's not make this headstock as fragile as a piece of dried spaghetti. And they've angled it just a bit smarter, and it is pretty thick. This makes sure that the headstock has extra reinforcement and won't snap under the tension of the strings. Good job, 10S! Honestly, the whole neck itself feels really damn sturdy too. It's a 3-piece maple construction, and look at this. It's neck through. This is absolutely unheard of on a guitar at this price range. I don't know if there's any scientific evidence to back this up, but neck through guitars are generally thought to have quite a bit more sustain than bolt-ons or set neck guitars, due to the neck going from here all the way to down here. This also means that the guitar is going to be far less susceptible to a snapping neck joint, something that again isn't all that uncommon on Gibsons. So if you value the longevity of your instrument, this is a pretty safe bet. Gibsons, maybe not so much. Number 5, better and wider selection. Now, if you want to buy a Gibson that's not cherry or tobacco burst, you're gonna have to pony up some pretty serious cash. And even then, what are your options? Gold top, solid black. Come the fuck on, guys. It's not the fucking 60s anymore. People want some options. 10S, on the other hand, have a wide selection of finishes available for their single cuts, and they're fucking gorgeous too. I was gonna make a list of all the finishes, but there's just so many, it's honestly best you just check them out for yourself. I'll have some links in the description below. This one just happened to be a bit unique and caught my eye, and you can bet your ass that you won't find a Gibson with this kind of finish. And the thing that really surprised me were the 7-string single cuts. You guys might remember I did a video on a 7-string Gibson a while back, and despite the owner putting in thousands of dollars in mods on it, it still couldn't stay in fucking tune. And if this guitar is any indication of the instruments that 10S makes, I'll take their 7-string over Gibson's pathetic offerings any day of the fucking week. Are gonna rob you. Are gonna rob you, yeah. Fuck! Fuck! This also means that the guitar is gonna be far less.